Okay, this is what Santa Claus bought me for Christmas, this Christmas. This is the GSG92 blowback BB pistol. It's made by, GSG is a division of Cybergun, I believe, which is an airsoft company, but don't let that fool you because this gun is not cheaply made in any way. The only plastic parts on this gun are the magazine release, safety lever, and the grips. Even the magazine is full metal. The magazine holds the CO2 cartridge, which goes into this piece here, which it comes with a big Allen wrench to unscrew that. And the BBs are held in this area here. It's kind of a pain to load because there's no lock on the slide, on the spring of the magazine, so you have to hold it down while you're loading the BBs in. But that's the only fault with this magazine. It holds 24 BBs. This gun shoots at 330 feet per second, and like I said, it is blowback. And the neat thing about this gun is it's quite realistic because if the magazine is empty, as it is now, when you fire all your shots, the slide locks back. So all you have to do is load up your next magazine, and instead of racking the slide, all you have to do is push the slide release. It's a really great gun it's a little bit expensive for a BB pistol, but I think it's well worth the money because this is an excellent pistol. It's double action and single action, but it's only double action for the first shot. You pull the trigger all the way back, and it is a light trigger pull for the double action. But for the single action, if you cock the hammer, and if you don't cock the hammer after the first shot, the slide will. The trigger pull becomes about half the length that it normally is, so it's very good for rapid fire shooting. The barrel is not rifled, so you can use any kind of BB in it without worrying about ruining the barrel. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you have any BB pistol, like a Draw's, which has a rifled barrel, do not use steel BBs in it, you'll ruin it. That goes for 177 pellet pistols too. Some of them you can use BBs in it, but I do not recommend that because if you do it too much, you'll destroy the barrel and the gun will be no good anymore. Anyway, this gun even field strips. You just push this button in here and turn this lever, and you have to take the magazine out, and then the slide comes right off, and the spring and the barrel can be removed too. The spring is a little bit tricky. You have to find, there's a flat spot on this round part here that you have to find, and you put that facing down so that you can pull it up over this. Here, the spring's out, and once the spring's out, the barrel can come out as well. And there it is, field strip. This doesn't really serve any other purpose other than it being just a neat feature, but if you ever needed to, you can oil the trigger mechanism, which is right here. As you can see the springs, but don't put too much else, so oil will drip down into the trigger and make your trigger finger get all oily. And you can also oil the slide rails and the hammer assembly. Okay, now that that's back together, I skipped over that because it's a little bit tricky to get back together. But as I said, these grips are also plastic, which these two screws can be removed, and if you have the tools to do so, you can even make your own wooden grips for this. The sights are non-adjustable, which they don't really need to be that much because this gun isn't really meant to be shooting any further than 25 feet. You can shoot it further, but don't expect any great accuracy. This is definitely not a serious target shooter. This is just a plinker for shooting tin cans and maybe tins of empty tins of pellets or stuff like that. Don't buy this gun hoping to shoot tight groups with it on a target because you'll be disappointed if you do. But if you want something that's great fun for just semi-automatic fast shooting, this is a great choice. Anyway, as far as accuracy goes, the best group I shot with this at 25 feet was about 2.5 to 3 inches of just 5 shots. So like I said, not the most accurate gun, but you can also customize this gun to some extent. You can mount a laser or a flashlight on this rail, and like I said, you can make wooden grips. And if you have access to a machine shop, you could even make a rail mount that hooks onto this and comes up over the top here with a red dot sight on it. But that's a lot of work and most people won't be able to do that. But And this barrel here, the way it extends, I'm not going to do this, and I don't recommend they do it, but you might be able to thread the barrel and make a suppressor for it, which in a lot of places in the US and Canada is illegal to do. But that's your business if you decide to do it, not mine. I'm just not saying I support that idea, but anyway, like I said, this is an excellent gun. It's about 140 bucks Canadian. I ordered it from a website called airgunsource.com. I don't know where you get this gun if you live in the US, but I know if you're in Canada that you can get it from airgunsource.com, because airgunsource is kind of like the Canadian version of Pyramid Air. So if you're in the US, you might have to do some research to find this. It's called the GSG92. GSG stands for German Sport Gun. If you can find a way to get this in the US, it would be helpful if you post a comment on this video, because I'm sure lots of Americans that see this are going to want this gun too, even though it's just a BB pistol. I only have, this is my only BB pistol that I have, my only BB gun, and normally I don't like BB guns because of inaccuracy, but for a BB gun this is reasonably accurate. Like, I'm used to pellets, and they're obviously going to be a lot more accurate than a BB will, because a BB rolls as it comes out of the barrel, and if it rolls sideways it's going to take off to the right or left, so you have to add some lead to your shot. This gun doesn't seem to do that too much. And also, since it's blowback, and the slide's made out of metal and the frame's made out of metal, when it blows back, you actually get a slight kick to it. So if you're practicing for IPSC or USPSA shooting, this might be a really good choice. I don't know if you can get these magazines off of airgunsource.com, because I looked for some, but I'm not planning on buying any. But I was just curious to see if they were out there, and I haven't found any. But they probably will eventually have them. So you could buy 2 or 3 of these, and you could do USPSA practice shooting, because ammunition's expensive. And this gun even feels like the real Beretta 92 FS in your hand, which this is a replica of that. If you're looking for a good plinker, this is an excellent choice. And the only downside to this gun is that the rear sight is not adjustable. The trigger does feel slightly flimsy, but I'm not worried about it. And the only problem is, whenever I first got this, the magazine stuck a little bit whenever it would come out. Doesn't seem to do that at all anymore. And ever since I oiled the loading ramp, it doesn't jam anymore there. Every once in a while, when I first got this, it would jam every so often, like once every maybe 20 shots. But it hasn't done that at all in over 200 shots since I oiled the slide ramp. And I'm not sure if that was what fixed it, or if it was just the gun being broken in that fixed it. But there's nothing that's wrong with this gun other than the non-adjustable rear sight that can't be fixed. And I'd recommend it to anyone.